Welcome to Shipwreck Sunday, where we investigate disasters at sea and the impact that they have on the world today. My name is Elinor. Today, I'll be giving you a behind-the-scenes look into the world of Titanic Month, including the idea of it, the process of making it, and more. Without any further ado, let's dive in. First of all, I have to say it. Your support and enthusiasm for Titanic Month was overwhelming. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of the comments, information, resources you shared with me, and especially the corrections. It helps me learn and grow as a content creator. We're going to dissect the process of Titanic Month starting from the very beginning, as we do with all Shipwreck Sunday episodes. If you didn't know by now, Titanic is my favorite ship, as she is for many people. She was the start of my love of ships. Way back in November of 2022, while I was still adjusting to having a new baby and still figuring out my identity on this channel, I decided it would be cool to celebrate the Olympic class during the month Titanic sank. I presented the concept to Derek, and he was in full support of my idea, which started as only 5 episodes: Olympic, 3 episodes on Titanic, and Britannic. I started writing the first episode after I did the Dazzle Camouflage special, which, if you haven't seen that one was fun. I'll link it in the cards. The first episode I wrote was Olympic, and I'd go down the list chronologically for the most part. The last episodes I wrote were Titanic's, since she really intimidated me because I loved the ship so much and wanted to respect the victims, and honestly, I didn't want to let you guys down either. I spent a lot of time poring over all of the books I own, researching into peer-reviewed and reputable sources online, and double-checking my work to try and attain the most accurate information I could from researchers. There's always going to be some details that are debatable, and undoubtedly my research isn't perfect, but I consulted many sources for these episodes, and overall, I'm so proud of the work I accomplished. It took all the way from November to the beginning of March to write all of the scripted episodes for Titanic Month, and as for the unscripted, I did them over time. When I found a detail in any of the stories for the 3 sister ships, I would make sure I could verify that detail with at least 3 sources. If there were differing opinions, I'd present those as well as I found them, just to ensure I was being transparent. Of course, for each of the 3 sisters, there's details I either couldn't find, couldn't verify, or didn't include because although they were interesting, weren't relevant to the story I was telling. These details I left out were relatively minor, like flooring patterns or certain design decisions. The bonus episodes were a little bit easier. They were more cut and drier, and had less controversy surrounding them, though not entirely. Any sinking or ship's history, especially one as infamous as Titanic, is going to be clouded with misinformation, conflicting information, or just downright missing details that make things confusing. Whereas the history of Harland and Wolff, the history of the White Star Line, and the life of Robert Ballard don't have the level of debate involved with the facts. My bonus episode on Titanic in film and culture was a bit of a call-out towards Speed Force Media, our movie channel. It was also, in a way, a continuation of my senior paper I did in college, where I discussed the impact of language on our interpretation of tragedy. It ended up being this really detailed dissertation that I didn't expect to be such a call to action, but it really was, and I appreciate everyone for being so kind and hearing out my opinions. I was a bit worried when I posted it. For the writing process, I wrote each episode of Titanic Month over the course of 1 to 2 weeks while writing other regular Shipwreck episodes. I wrote 2 episodes each week for roughly 8 months, and that was a trip. Not to mention, these episodes were my longest, most detailed I'd ever attempted, and they show in the length of the scripts. For example, the average Shipwreck Sunday script is about 9 to 14 pages long, and the sinking of RMS Titanic is 35 pages long. It was a daunting project. Writing is a skill I'm comfortable with, and something I'm quite fast at as well. I was always great in English and creative writing courses, so this line of work is pretty much tailored to me. That made the writing of Titanic Month's episodes a bit easier, but still intimidating given the subject matter. The research for all of the episodes I'd estimate took a few weeks grand total, maybe longer. The writing took about 7 months, so that was the bulk of the time. I'd spend about 15 to 20 hours a week alone on writing just the Titanic Month episodes. However, where the time became the most intimidating and almost painful was the editing. I recorded and edited some of the episodes early. The April Fool's Day special, RMS Olympic, the history of the White Star Line, all of the reviews, and the book club episode. After that, I did the rest on a week-by-week basis. The April Fool's Day special took a day to edit. RMS Olympic took 3 full days to edit. The history of the White Star Line took 2 days to edit. The building of Titanic took 5 days to edit. The history of Harland and Wolff took 2 days to edit. The life of Robert Ballard took 2 days to edit. HMHS Britannic took about 4 days to edit. Titanic in Film and Culture took 2 days to edit. And finally, the bulk of the work went into the sinking of Titanic, which took a full 8 days to edit. That one was grueling and overwhelming, but I'm proud of how it turned out, so it was well worth it. All of my editing was done in the evening hours since I have an infant to care for during the daytime. So much of this editing was done well into the late hours of the night and early hours of the morning. I do my best work when everyone is in bed and it's peaceful, so it wasn't too bad. The only thing I found was that toward the end of the month, the lack of sleep was wearing on me. That's why I took the first week of May off in order to recharge. I'd love to do another event like Titanic Month, but it was just me doing the bulk of the work. Derek recorded the Yellow Submarine episode for April Fool's Day, and the rest was on me. He was busy working overtime in April and running the Speed Force Media channel, so it was a work of divide and conquer. For another event or special month like this, I'm going to need another 8 or so months at least. But trust me, it won't be a one-time thing. We will definitely do more events like this in the future. As for the editing, I was searching and scouring for pictures, videos, movie footage, and even video game footage to add as much visual details as I could. I think it's more entertaining that way, so I really wanted to make something I could be proud of and that I'd be entertained by. I did create a lot of the images I used too. I wanted to make it as unique and feel as true to our channel as I could. With the analytics side of everything, I'll be giving you the statistics from the entire month of April. We had around 750-ish subscribers going into Titanic Month, and as of May 1st, we were up to 900. YouTube estimates in the month of April we gained 129 subscribers, which is 108% more than usual. As for views, we received 12,775 views in that time period, which is 111% more than we usually do. Interestingly, a lot of these views actually came from our January episodes on Yamato and Musashi. They were going viral at the same time Titanic Month was taking off for some reason. As for watch time, which is essentially the amount of time that people spend watching a YouTube video, we got 2,440 hours this month, which is 159% more than usual. Titanic Month was statistically a great move, but it wasn't entirely the intent. Of course, I wanted to share my love of Titanic with the largest audience possible. I wouldn't be honest with you or myself if I didn't admit that. But my main goal was to share my love of Titanic with the viewers we already had and to give them a treat for helping us improve so much over the last year. All of our content can't be as long and difficult as Titanic Month, since that would make the month-long event less special, and honestly, it would just exhaust me beyond a manageable point. But we can take elements from it and move forward with that. And, of course, we can always start planning another month-long special. So far, Lusitania Month is in the running for next May. How do we feel about that? Let me know down in the comments section. Going forward, my goals for the channel are to continue to learn and grow, evolve our content to the next level, and to expand the variety of ships we cover. I want to cover more warships, submarines, yachts, cruise ships, ferries, cargo ships, sailing vessels, and, of course, ocean liners from all time periods. I want to look at ancient shipwrecks, modern shipwrecks, and even ships that are still afloat. I love all vessels that end up in the ocean, so I want to cover it all. And I really want to harken back to why we started this channel and start covering less popular ships whose story don't get told that often. So if you have any lesser known vessels or really any ship you'd like to see, let me know. I also want to expand our brand. What I mean by that is creating even more content. I have ideas for more shows other than just Shipwreck Sunday that would either be monthly, every other week, or weekly depending upon the workload. I'm not going to spill the details on those just yet, but know I have some ideas in the works for even more stories and discussions to have as a community. I'd also like to look into live streaming. If you're interested in that, please let me know. I'm looking at creating a show that could possibly be live one day, as well as quite possibly live streaming and playing ship-related video games, since I have quite a few of them. If you have any games you'd like me to play, let me know. And yes, we can definitely play more of Britannic Patroness of the Mediterranean. That game is really cool. As for the live show I briefly mentioned, it would be an opportunity to answer questions from you in real time, as well as everyone being able to share information together and add to the conversation in real time. And for everyone wondering, I am looking into doing merchandise and channel memberships with perks as soon as I'm able to. I've got lots of ideas for that as well. Once I get some designs figured out and figure out either an Etsy or Shopify store and all the logistics of that, we'll see about getting some Shipwreck Sunday merch. I want a hoodie. What would you guys want to see? Titanic Month has really inspired a lot of evolution and change for this channel, and we will continue to grow as a community together, Shipwreckers. Though honestly, everyone, the best part of Titanic Month was the community. Everyone was having great discussions with one another and with me, and we celebrated the Olympic class to its fullest extent. I really enjoyed interacting with everyone, hearing everyone's suggestions, criticisms, and information they had to share. It's so important to me to be able to hear everyone's opinion and learn from each other. The educational value of that for me just can't be explained. I learned so much from you guys. Sometimes I think more than I am able to teach. Thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart for coming along for the ride for Titanic Month. It's been an amazing experience and one I will never forget. Thank you for tuning in to Shipwreck Sunday. If you liked this bonus episode and are listening on YouTube, please give us a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you liked this episode and are listening on Spotify, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Music, or another podcast service, please subscribe for more content and leave us a 5-star review, as it does help us reach more listeners like you. If you have any ships you'd like us to cover, please leave us a comment and you might hear your favorite ship here on the podcast. Check out our community tab for updates and to interact with us. And don't forget to check out our second channel, Speed Force Media. This Sunday, we will be covering the story of MV Princess of the Stars, a passenger ferry that capsized in 2008. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.